Welcome back to Dyknow's Tech Coach Corner YouTube series. I'm Tiara and I'll be your host. Today we're joined by Matthew Ketchum and we're talking all about student data privacy. Remote learning really brought on a lot of student data privacy concerns and really making sure that technology tools are compliant with those different laws that exist in your state or on the federal level. So Matthew's going to walk us through how to evaluate technology tools and really make sure that they're compliant with those student data privacy laws. Before we jump in, just want to remind everyone to subscribe to Dyknow's YouTube channel, follow us on all of our other social media channels, and don't forget to register for our 2020 Progressive Learning Conference, which will be happening from September 21st through 25th. It's going to be a great week of learning, so I don't want you to miss out. You can go ahead and register for that using the link in the description of this video. I think that's all I have to plug today, so let's jump into our conversation with Matthew. Welcome back to Tech Coach Corner, everyone. Today I am joined by Matthew Ketchum. Matthew, do you want to give a quick introduction to yourself?
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Matthew Ketchum, your neighborhood-friendly technology coach and soon-to-be Director of Educational Technology in our school district starting July 1st. Really excited about the new position. Thank you.
That's really exciting. I think one topic that we have kind of talked with you about a little bit before on our Tackling Tech podcast, as well as at our 2020 Technology Coaching Conference, that's really applicable to remote learning now, as well as kind of where we go from here, is student data privacy. And I think, you know, your role as a tech coach, obviously you are a little more in depth with that and going into your new role as Director of Educational Technology. Can you talk a little bit about student data privacy, kind of what it is overall, how it applies to remote learning, and then maybe how that translates back into the classroom?
Yeah, so this is a very important topic and something to be very mindful as we start to evaluate technology tools and how they align with the classroom. But it's one of those aspects that we do as educators or administrators or school districts do need to evaluate as they're choosing the tools that they use in the classroom, especially for technology. So here in California, we actually have a law that was passed called AB 1584. And it's the legal compliance that a school district has when they use a technology vendor in California. And really this is an agreement, it's a legal agreement that that vendor is saying, yes, I do comply with the federal and state and California Ed Code laws for student data privacy. And those can be the FERPA, with the public records with the school, the PPRA, that's just getting permission from parents from collecting data from students, to COPA, you know, looking at what does a technology or software application or vendor, how are they protecting that student data? Are they being mindful not to share that student data out? And that's SOPIPA. So there's quite a few federal compliances, and it's really good for a software or technology company that's making apps or web-based applications or these extensions to have a privacy policy that's clear, it's accessible for educators to view. In California, we actually have to get into a legal agreement with those vendors because of that AB 1584. But we're trying out different tech tools all the time. Teachers find them. We go to conferences. We hear about them. You know, on the social media, we get excited. There is a lot of really great tools that can really help with the pedagogy and student learning. It's just this other side we do need to vet out and evaluate, because there could be different reasons why that tool might be free. It might be that, you know, they are looking for investors maybe later on to do different tiers of their service later on. It could be that they have different grants, educational grants, that they're using to develop those. But it could also be that they're also selling some of that student data on the side too. So we do want to be very mindful, protective of that student data, because this is really pristine data, right? These are students that haven't really been, their data hasn't been used in the economy, and it's pristine data that you don't want to have in the wrong hands. And there's definitely federal compliance that they have to follow, but we just want to make sure that that vendor and that company is following it. And we just need to be mindful of those. And there's a couple tools that we can use as educators. One of them is Common Sense Education. They have a really nice privacy evaluation tool that you can look up any app, and it will give you their rating and their review of it. iKeepSafe is another organization that vendors can work with, and they do the badging. So they say, yes, you are COPA compliant, or you do match the California student data privacy compliance or the FERPA, and they will do the badging with a vendor, which is really helpful for that visual when you see that with any of those technology tools. A couple other ones is the actual Student Data Privacy Alliance in California is building a database of what districts are actually doing those agreements with those vendors and what vendors have signed off that they are following those compliances. And so that's a great place for us to go, especially in California. They're also building out that database for nationwide as well. So this topic that we kind of have in California, a lot of vendors they're actually asking for it. They go, we want to show that we're complying with this. How can we get this into a national database for everyone to see that?
Definitely. And I think it definitely helps to have those databases where you can go to one place and you know all the information you'll need, and all the companies who are compliant are going to be right there. So that definitely, I think, benefits companies on one side to be able to show that they're compliant by being part of that kind of group and that database, but also helps technology teams like yourself to really go in and do that research in a concise and kind of more streamlined way than having to do all this extra kind of research and stuff on the back end. So I think student data privacy is definitely a big topic of conversation, especially with remote learning, with students learning from home and learning, on video conferencing sites and things like that. But also just a conversation that we should continue having as technology becomes more prevalent in students' lives earlier and earlier on. So I appreciate you kind of outlining that for us, sharing a little bit on both the national and the California student data privacy restrictions and outlines. Matthew, I know you have an awesome podcast. You also are super active on social. Can you share with everyone where they can find you if they'd like to engage with you further?
Yeah, it's the TNT EdTech Podcast I co-host with my good friend Scott Nunes. It's Tech Coach and Tech Director, TNT. And you can find us at tntedtech.com. Any podcast player of your choice you can find us on. And also on Twitter at TNT EdTech. And I'm also on Twitter. You can follow me at Matt EdTech Coach.
Awesome. And we will link all of that below so that people can find you. Matthew and Scott also did an amazing presentation on PLNs and social media at our 2020 Technology Coaching Conference. So head to that playlist on our YouTube channel and check it out. Their presentation is awesome. Matthew, thank you so much for being with us today.